Very, very tight today indeed, 131873. Well, I spoke yesterday, as you know, to Tony Allen. Tony is the man behind the government's year-long trial of age assurance technologies. He's from the UK. He's out here because these are the technologies that will likely be used when the age limit for social media becomes law. But despite bipartisan support, and look, this thing will become law, but despite bipartisan support, the policy is starting to see a bit of blowback in the House. Now, today we've already seen Andrew Wilkie come out saying he can't support the bill. That's despite the fact, and he was speaking to Radio National this morning. Not long ago, he said he thought when it first came out it was a great idea. He now says the whole thing is nonsense. So he's had a change of heart. And judging by listening to the comments from many of you, as we've been trying to get our head around how this could work in practice, a number of you are also starting to have a bit of a change of heart, I think, on this idea of limiting social media to the 16-year-olds and over. I think a lot of people reckon, yeah, okay, if you can do it, fine. But can you do it? How does it work in practice? Well, somebody else who isn't yet convinced is Di Lee. Di, as you know, is the independent MP for Fowler in Sydney's West. She voted against the bill. She's on the line. Di, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Michael. Good afternoon.
Can I just ask you, is it in principle that you are against this, or are you concerned about the practicalities of implementing and enforcing this?
Look, there are a few issues, Michael. I've had a lot of constituents emailing me, messaging me on my social media platforms, both parents and young people, saying that please do not vote for this because obviously they feel that it's their freedom to communicate, freedom to engage with, especially for young people. I mean, this bill was around, the age restriction was around making media platforms take steps to prevent under 16 from having an account. Now, yes. I just don't believe that you can prevent young people, especially at the age of 16, from accessing social media. There are positive, aspects to the social media because we are now more connected, and this is what I spoke about. More connected, we are accessing information, connecting with people, not just in our, area, but across the world as well, learning and finding out information. And I think that young people, we need to give them credit because eventually, if the messaging, if the content is not trustworthy enough, they will shift and they will move. So majority of kids, and I think this is also, we have to ensure that families make the decision. Government should not intervene, and this is what I said, into families' lives. Don't tell parents, this is there for you to ensure that you can stop your child from accessing. I have my conversation with my son in terms of how he uses his social media. Yes. And we have healthy conversations. So that's the important thing. That's the role that a parent plays in the household. And I understand some parents say, look, they're too much. We don't know how to manage it. But children, young people do find access to information that will help them. And there are instances of bullying, and I do get that. But whether or not it's online or somewhere else, it happens. That's part of life.
Well, that's true. So everything you're saying is very mature, and I think there's been a sort of a lack of maturity in some of the emotion of the debate. I understand the emotion, but equally, Di, as you know, there'd be people writing to you saying, look, we're parents, we're responsible for our children, we can say yes or no. There are other parents that have written to me to say, look, if this comes in, I'll be really pleased because I at least can now say to my 14-year-old, no, you can't use it. And this is why, because the law says, so they get that extra weapon, right?
I know, but Michael, do you think kids, they don't even listen to their parents, let alone the government, a piece of legislation? Think about it. I mean, what would this piece of legislation do? It's not something that a parent can say to a child, I've got this piece of legislation, now you can't get onto line because you're prevented. I don't believe, as a parent, my son would say, well, stuff you. I mean, think about it logically. Look, I think we have been also approached by, representatives from children's group who have said to us, listen, this is, they can get access to mental health support. They felt that this, well, the first thing is that it was pushed through so quickly. it didn't give us time.
Let me ask you about that. I wanted to ask you about that because I think some people, even in the Parliament that voted against this, some independents and others in the lower house around you in the chamber, they in principle probably support this. They may not have all the same concerns, but they've got their knickers in a knot, and I understand why, because this is being rammed through in sort of Formula One pace, and it's not allowing a proper consultation process.
Absolutely, that's right. And a lot of them are saying, you know, we didn't have time to actually go into the details and consult with stakeholders in our community. For me, I've been consulting. I mean, yes, I should do more extensively, but the good thing about my community in Fowler is that they actually have reached out to me and emailed me and messaged me. And I have done a bit of polling on X platform, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, asking them what their thoughts are around this. And majority, at least 90%, have said no age restriction to social media platforms. So one of the other platforms that is not actually excluded from this bill is a platform called Discord. And I just found out that Discord is actually a children's platform. It's where young people go and chat and all that stuff. Now, how can you, if you're talking about prevention of harm on our young people, then should every single platform, including Discord, be included in that? So therefore, there's not enough time for us to debate. We even had academics coming to us saying, look, this is not the right thing. We can't not rush this through because there are some very good benefits for young people who access their peers, who communicate, who find that community that they can talk to because they will not talk to their parents. So
irrespective they die, I mean, it's going through, right? I mean, we know it's passed the lower house. It'll pass on the vote in the Senate. It'll become the law. So we then have to. I'm not questioning any of your wisdom. The more I listen to you, the more I'm starting to move over to your camp on this. I must admit, but I'm doing an Andrew Wilkie, heaven forbid. But and that's a rare event. But okay, so it will become the law.
Yes.
So then we have to look at the practicality of this, now
That's
accepting that, okay, this is going to happen.
Yes.
How are we going to enforce it? I spoke yesterday to one of the leaders in the world in trying to make this happen, Tony Allen. As you know, he's out here at the moment running this trial for the government on age assurance. Now, I'm just not sure how we're going to enforce this.
How can we police it? Absolutely, because it's social, it's online, it's the internet, and I know it is a huge beast, and I think everybody will try to grapple this gigantic the internet technology, the mobile devices. We're trying to grapple. The world has changed so much with all this. You know, technology has taken over. The social media giants who used to be they're now the gatekeepers. So it's such a big, and I think this one bill, it's not going to stop that growth in social media. It's about educating our young people. It's about giving them the opportunity to access healthy information. It's about giving them opportunity to get out, of the house and do, physical activities, boot camp. So we need to be more creative in how to engage with young people. By banning them accessing social media is not the way to go. We need to ensure that we encourage young people to, I tell my son, put your phone down, let's spend family time. So it has to be a family environment, and there has to be a conversation within the family to say how to bring the families together again and let not the devices interrupt our family life. So there are so many other ways, but banning and having a legislation to ban under 16 from accessing social media. What else will the government of the day do to stop us having the right to choose the way that we live, read what we want to read, connect with people that we want to connect, and search for information. So, yeah.
I appreciate it. It's very well explained. Very well indeed. As I said, irrespective of how well that was explained, it won't matter because this will become law. But we then have to look at the practicalities. I appreciate your time. There will be. Yeah,
Michael.
Obviously.
Yes.
Whenever you change the law, there are. Thank you, Di. All the best. Appreciate that.
Michael, thank you.
Di Lee there, the member for Fowler. Speaking, I think, very well. Very well. Irrespective of what you think about the whole bill, pretty hard to push back against the logic that Di just espoused. 131873. More after this.
Hi.